Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're going to talk some boxing. This video is in response to Gangzta003. He says he has difficulty with a taller fighter. He says the fighter is long, he's slower than him, but he constantly stiff arms him. And also, once he gets to the inside, the fighter pulls him in and basically locks him up so he can't throw punches. Now, one of the fights I will advise Gangzta003 to go check out is Samuel Peter versus Vladimir Klitschko, the first fight. Okay, this is it right here. And Samuel Peter exhibited some skills. Samuel Peter actually was an unrated boxer. He also beat James Toney. Had very good skills from Africa. And basically, this boxer became heavyweight champion of the world. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that there are certain skill sets you need to have. Now, there's a difference between talent and skill. Skill is something you have to be taught, and it is perfected by repetition once you're doing it the right way. So there are a number of skills that Samuel Peter is utilizing here, Gangzta003, that you would be wise enough to incorporate in your game. But before I go on, 003, I have to actually chastise you or correct you on something. You said, first of all, that you thought Gennady Golovkin won a lot of rounds in the fight against Daniel Jacobs. This was not a one-sided fight by Gennady Golovkin versus Daniel Jacobs. Don't ever get that twisted. It was a close fight. So if you're so one-sided in scoring a fight, that's a problem. Okay, you need to learn how to see what's really going on in the boxing ring. Okay, now I'm saying that because what you're seeing here, there's a lot going on there, and if you don't know what's going on, then you're not going to be able to incorporate it in your style and be able to utilize it properly to take advantage of another boxer you're fighting. In short, what I'm trying to say to you is you need to call boxing as it really is so you can add to your game. So it's very important when you're looking at boxers fighting, you're not just looking at punches landed, you're also looking at the skills they utilize when they're boxing one another, okay? And it's okay to have a favorite fighter and all of that, but at the end of the day, you need to know what these boxers are doing in there, okay? So I'm about to show you what Samuel Peter was doing to get to the inside of Vladimir Klitschko. Now, even though Vladimir Klitschko was able to clinch him up, there were some other things Samuel Peter could have done to ensure that he still landed his body shots while he was doing what he was doing. But I'll go into all of that, okay? Now, this video comes on the tails of my Thomas the Hitman Hearns versus Floyd Mayweather argument that I was making for Floyd Mayweather being a very tough fight for Thomas Hearns and probably one in which he would lose. And I'm trying to show you the skill sets that are necessary to do this. Now, there are a number of different skill sets Samuel Peter is using. So one of them is slipping the punch. So he's slipping Vladimir Klitschko's punch here. He's keeping his head outside of the true line so Vladimir Klitschko can't line up and hit him with the jab. The second thing he's doing is what we call dipping. So he'll dip to one side. In this case, he's dipping to his right side. Okay? And when he dips to his right side, there's a certain timing he's putting in there. So when Vladimir Klitschko tried to throw the straight right, he missed. Okay? So he's slipping, he's going from the left to the right. So he slipped a number of Klitschko's jabs, and then he dipped to his right. And when he did so, Klitschko grabbed his head and pulled in. Okay? So there are two skill sets there. There is slipping and then there's dipping. Okay? You have to learn how to slip punches. And to slip punches, while it is a V motion, you have to understand it's your upper body doing that, yes. There's a number of things involved here. Now, when Samuel Peter slips the punches, he's also using his high guard at certain points, and then he's using his shoulder roll defense at another point. So you see him when he slips to his left, he uses the high guard because his face is exposed. So that's to make sure he blocks the punch. When he's slipping to his right, he uses his shoulder to protect himself. Okay? I want you to notice that again. Those are skills. Okay? Those are skills. They're precautionary. So if Klitschko does clip him, he will clip the gloves if he's dipping to his left, and if he's, slipping to his left, and if he's slipping to his right, he'll hit the shoulder. Can you see that? It's important you see it. So he gives the high guard when he's slipping to his left, and when he's slipping to his right, he uses the shoulder to protect himself. Okay? These are skills. You have to have these skills, and they take a while to develop properly. Now there's something else Samuel Peter is doing. He's dipping, like I said before. But how you dip, you can't just dip. You have to dip by bending your legs. So he changes levels by dipping. He didn't do it properly, actually. He dipped, but he also dipped to the side. He didn't dip in. He didn't dip forward into Klitschko. He dipped to the side. Okay? And also, he should have bent his legs more to drop into the dip. Pernell Whitaker's a guy who does a lot of dips. Okay? He should have dropped a little bit more, because if he dropped a little bit more, then Klitschko would not have been able to pull in his head and therefore be able to clinch him. What you're supposed to do is dip to the side and then you slide in. So you bump Klitschko. That's to bump him off. So if he tries to grab your head like the taller opponent, you slip on the inside of him, but you have to bend your legs. Okay? You got that, Gangzta003? So if the guy is much taller than you, you have to bend your legs. A lot of people don't like to bend their legs. They don't like to dip properly. So you have to practice dipping. Okay? Depending on how your stance is, you may dip in the high guard stance, but you must protect your face. Or you can dip, as Samuel Peters is doing here, side on with the shoulder, blocking your opponent trying to land on you. So you see Klitschko hit the shoulder here. Boom. Bounced off the shoulder. But Klitschko, he tries to get Samuel Peters' head, and as Samuel Peters coming back up, you don't come back up. You dip low, and then you slide in on him with the shoulder and bump him. You dip low and you bump him. So if Samuel Peters had dipped low and slid in, he would have bumped Klitschko off, and then he would have been able to land a body shot from low to high, or even a headshot, a looping headshot, would have caught Klitschko. Okay? The trick to stopping guys from clenching you, go watch Marcos Maidana versus anybody, is to dip downwards. When a guy comes in for a clinch, you dip downwards, keep your head tucked, and then you can come over the top with an overhand right or overhand left. So when this tall guy tries to stiff arm you, you don't stand in front of him. You change levels by dipping, and then you slide in on him, and then you bump him, and then you hit him with a body shot. And you stay low, and then you roll out. Roll your head out. Okay, I can't tell you how to roll. You don't know how to roll yet, right? So, or you pivot to an angle. So you hit him with a body punch and you pivot away from him. You pivot either to his left or to his right. Preferably you want to pivot on the outside of his right hand, which will be his power hand if he's orthodox. Alright? So he has to turn. And when he's turning, then you land another punch. But that's too much for you. All you need to learn right now is how to slip. I'm telling you too many things, right? And the skill sets are learned one at a time. You can't perfect nothing if you just know, oh, I need to slip and so on, and then you don't even know how to slip. I showed you how to slip. Slipping is not something where you're moving excessively. Even Samuel Peters here, he kind of moved a little too excessively there. You just want to slip just enough for the guy to miss you, because you need the time to be able to get on the inside of him. Now, what's the advantage of dipping? Dipping, a tall opponent finds it very difficult to hit a shorter thing. So the smaller you get, the lower you get, the harder it is for a taller opponent to hit you. As you can see, Klitschko had difficulty hitting Samuel Peters. And even grabbing him, the only reason why he was able to grab him was because Samuel Peters came up from his dip. Okay, let me show you some more. Now, another thing that people do not understand about boxing is that they don't understand that boxing is made up of a series of battles. And you win some and you lose some. So, in a round, there's a series of tactics and strategies the different boxers are doing. Now here, Klitschko tried to stiff arm. He actually was trying to throw a hook, actually. And Samuel Peters simply dipped to his left. He went with the hook. So Klitschko could not pinpoint him. And as a result, he tried to stiff arm Samuel Peters, and Samuel Peters ducked low again. So it's very hard for a guy to stiff arm you if you keep on moving, and especially if you're moving with the punch and then or you're moving below the punch. So you roll under the punch, you keep on rolling under. The lower you go is the harder for them to maintain their hand on you. So you see, he was trying to stiff arm and head control Samuel Peters, but Samuel Peters simply dipped under and then pivoted. Okay. Now Samuel Peters didn't have a lot of footwork. He didn't move his feet a lot, but he used a pivot. Okay, and he continuously dips. Okay, but he doesn't dip his entire body. If you dip your entire body, that helps a lot, because now the guy can't locate you at all, and his hand's too low. And you keep the jabbing hand that low, you can come from low to high on the inside, like here. Samuel Peters, he could have done a left hook right there. Okay, as he's pivoting under, come up with the left hook. You see what I'm saying? Watch it again. So he could have come up with the left hook. He could have caught Klitschko flush. I think Corey Sanders hit Klitschko with a left. He's a left-hander, but he hit him with a left hook because of that. Okay. Now I just wanted to show you these two things. It's simply slipping and dipping, and with footwork included in that, where you slide in or you know, whatever. You're trying to land a punch from low to high. Or right there, Samuel Peters could have done a jab to the pit. Watch it again. Right there. See? Right there. Boom. He should have countered with a jab to the pit right there. Boom. Right there. Alright, I'll show you it again with my thing. Here's my arrow. So right here where he dips, jab to the pit. He might have been too far away though. Right there. Boom. And Klitschko did pivot. But that would have been a beautiful, nice little left hook right there. He could have gone to the body with the left hook. Right? He would have been low, so Klitschko would not be able to throw the right. Of course, the hand was on his head. So but he should have stayed low and then come up with the shot right there. That would have been interesting. But again, he probably didn't want to take the risk. So not only can you now incorporate that as a defensive move to avoid your opponent, as Klitschko was trying to do, but you can also counter. Now Klitschko did tap his head, okay, to tell him, "Oh, I got you, right?" So it might have been dangerous for him to do that. But my point is, you can also counter off of the slipping and the sliding. And that's what you see Floyd Mayweather and Aaron Pryor do. Once the guy throws his jab, that's a beautiful thing for them, because that's what they want. They want you to throw your jab so they can counter you. So that's why I was trying to explain to people, Thomas Hearns would be, he would be fodder for a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao waits for you to commit to a jab, and then he works from there. Mayweather was able to beat Pacquiao with the jab because Mayweather wasn't just using a jab. And remember, Pacquiao's a southpaw. So Mayweather, to use a jab on a southpaw is very, very difficult to do to start with. And Mayweather was using that jab to perfection, and he was coming with the straight right, which was really the thing like the jab that he really, really utilized. So it's like Mayweather had two jabs in his hands. Okay? He was like playing unfairly. He was using two jabs. And Mayweather also, not only, the other thing that Mayweather was able to do to Manny Pacquiao, why he was able to offset him, Manny Pacquiao didn't have certain special effects. Mayweather kept on pivoting. Now a guy like Thomas Hearns, they don't use pivots like how Mayweather uses pivots. Thomas Hearns will shuffle and he will move on the outside. And so because of that, he can't change that acute angle that is necessary to make the opponent a miss. That's why, again, I say, people talk about Hearns and Leonard being on the same level of Mayweather, and guys like Whitaker and guys like James Toney. They're on totally different levels. Toney, Whitaker, and Mayweather are different kinds of fighters to guys like Roy Jones Jr. in terms of the footwork, in like guys like Manny Pacquiao, like Sugar Ray Leonard, like Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson had a much more precise footwork, but still, Sugar Ray Leonard mostly used shuffles on the outside. Mayweather don't shuffle so much. He don't bounce so much. Muhammad Ali, also different to Mayweather. Mayweather used precise pivot work. Okay? So there's a lot of differences there. Whitaker, precise pivot work in a unique kind of way. He could fight you going backwards, forwards. Whitaker is probably the one who, to me, is the most spellbinding when it comes to pivot work, because Whitaker constantly makes his opponent miss and go down the wrong line. Whitaker is a marvel to watch how his feet do something completely different to his hands. Okay, Mayweather's still kind of coordinated with his feet, even though he changes it up all the time. But Charlie Burley, Mike McCallum, Floyd Mayweather, these are really, really, really good fighters. Okay, when you go and you study these guys, they got something for every single style, every single sort of height, range, reach. Like I said, Charlie Burley was a hell of a fighter. Okay, so when you're talking about these guys, they're on a whole other playing field to guys like Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard. Robinson was tough. He'd take some body shots, man. He would take some shots. Leonard was tough. He would take some shots. Okay, if Leonard could figure out Hearns, Mayweather, who's just a hell of a lot in a different league to Sugar Ray Leonard, would more than figure out Thomas Hearns. And the only reason Mayweather's in another league to Leonard is because Mayweather got to watch Leonard. He got to watch Hearns. He got to watch Duran. I keep on explaining this to people. So anyway, Gangzta003, there's a lot to boxing, and you have a lot of skill sets to learn to really deal with the taller fighter. Don't think that you're just going to go in there and spar him. You have to work on drills to perfect the skills first before you can go into sparring. And then you have to work on one skill at a time in the sparring. So your goal, first of all, you can't just go in there and think you're going to get in the inside of that taller guy. No. It don't work like that. You got to first see if you can slip the taller guy's punches. So you're practicing slipping. It's like right here where this guy is practicing to slip. See, he slips here. He want to just make sure he can slip the dude. He don't care if the guy clinch up on him or anything. He just want to make sure he can slip the punch. So that's the first step. Then you're going to dip. There's the dip. See? Alright, so the taller guy, he couldn't land nothing. He dipping, right? He can't land anything. That's step one. So you got to master that and make sure you can get on the inside. You must always be on the inside after everything's said and done, because you're practicing to get on the inside. Don't dart in on the inside, Gangzta003. There's a lot of things newbies do that are just wrong. Don't dart on the inside. Don't be trying to twist your body in a V. No excessive nothing. Slipping is small steps. It's small little movements of the upper body. Alright? And how you angle your upper body. You can't be squared up and you keeping your hands down. You're going to get popped in the face. Okay? And you can't just be side on either to try and make that slip, because then you're going to bend your back and hurt your back trying to slip the other way if you're just in the shoulder roll stance all the time. And you got to have the proper stance where your head's outside the line of fire. You got to keep your head outside. It depends on what stance you're using. If you're using the high guard stance, then the guy can shoot straight down and hit your guard, right? If you're using the high guard stance, you can do it a la Tyson, where you kind of like a V-like, but you don't excessively move. If you can't make the V and just slightly move to one side and to the other, see, because when you move to one side, your shoulders are actually supposed to move with you. Even with the high guard stance, your shoulders move one way. When you move the other way, your shoulders move the other way. And just by doing that, you stay outside the line. It's that simple, you know. But most people, you see, even here, Samuel Peters has excessive. He has excessive slipping movement, but it's all good. So you have to practice doing that. So it's just by inches. The guy throws a jab and he misses you, and then what you do is you have to change levels to get on the inside. So if the taller guy tries to put down his hand on you and press down his weight on you, that's a slide in and pull in. That's where you let him. If he's pulling down on you, you got to go down with him. You got to go down with him and slide in with that. You see, if you drop, guys actually will drop with you, but they also can't use their force on you. They can't use their weight on you, and you can slide in and bump them off. You see what I'm saying? And while you're bumping them off, you can land a little sneaky body shot in there. Alright, with the shoulder. So as you bump him off, you pivot on that. You slide in, you bump him with your shoulder, and you pivot and you hit him a body shot, probably with your right hand, depending on which stance you're in. If you're on the left side, you bump him with the left shoulder, and then you hit him with the left hand, and so on. That's how you sneak in those body shots, because the body shots will wear down the taller fighter, make him even slower, and then you can come over the top with the overhand right. See? That's the idea. But you gotta have the skills and develop those skills to be able to do that. You the smaller guy, so if you're a smaller guy, the overhand right is your thing. So you gotta keep the head down, kind of like Danny Garcia or the Mexican fighters. You're looking at the ground when you hit a guy with the overhand right, because you know where your foot position is to the taller guy. So you really want to stay low and come from low high. That's how you're gonna beat these guys. Okay? That's what Mayweather does. That's what Aaron Pryor did. That's what Pernell Whitaker did. That's what any smaller fighter, Manny Pacquiao comes from low to high. Any smaller fighter from a bigger fighter, they got to make themselves even more small so the bigger guy can't find them. And once they can't find them, they come over the top with the shot. But first, you got to work the body. You got to get them thinking, oh, I'm going to get my body hit. So they drop their hands down. And once they drop their hand down, you had to make them jab low too. So they think they're towering over you, trying to jab down all the time. And they leave that guard open on the top so you can come over the top and hit them and knock them down. Right? So that's how it works. For you just got to try and land something on the body. Okay? But, like I said before, don't start off trying to land to the body. Don't try to land nothing. Just try and slip. Just try and do the basic skills. Try to slip punches. That's what your sparring going to be about. Slipping punches. When the taller guy try to come in and pressure you, you slip punches. Keep your high guard up. You know, let him throw off his shots. Peep through the high guard if you can. If he's beating you up too much, you know, move around a little bit. But you just trying to practice slipping punches first. Then the next thing you want to do is dip. So you got to learn the timing for dipping with that guy. You got to learn what he's doing because he's probably very far away from you when he throws his punches. So you want to be able to dip and then slide in. That's all you want to do. Dip, slide in, bump him. Dip, slide in, bump him. Dip, slide in, bump him. That's all you're doing. Nothing more. He clinch you up, no problem. Dip, slide in, bump him. Let him clinch you. Dip, slide in, bump him. Sometimes you use the little forearm and you bump him off. Okay? You bump him off with the forearm. I hope you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then don't bug about what I'm saying, right? Just try and slide in, bump him, okay? And whether the guy is slow or not, you got to get the guy's timing, of course. Because if you don't have his timing, it don't matter. You know, you might run into a punch, you know, when you try to dip, slide in, but he might hit you, you know. So you need to be able to dip, slide, bump. But again, you have to have defense so that if his jab hits you, it bounces off of you if you're using the shoulder or your back. So the idea is you got to understand how to do these things, and I can't explain it to you via videos. You got to actually practice it in front of me or in front of a trainer. You know, it's not something that you just master just like that. It don't work like that. Okay, you have to actually practice it. So to practice slipping, watch the videos I sent you on slipping. Then you got to practice dipping. Okay, we're gonna talk about bob and weave another time, but first you got to be able to slip. If you can't even slip, you can't bob and weave. Okay, because the next thing you got to learn after you know how to slip and dip is how to swivel. See, swiveling will help you with bobbing and weaving. You have to learn how to swivel and roll, and then you can learn how to bob and weave. There's so much stuff to boxing. Like I said before, you only learning the basics right now. There's some basic skill sets. Alright, and after you know how to swivel, bob and weave, slip and dip, and then you must learn how to slide. Then you can learn how to counter. So you slip and counter, you bob and counter, bob and weave and counter. You learn how to dip and counter. Okay, so you got to learn all these different things. They're all skill sets. See, there's a difference between skills in boxing, like I said before, God gifting, and talents in boxing. You hear somebody say he's very talented. That's different to being God gifted, and that's different to being skilled, and that's different from being somebody who is battle tested. Okay, all of those things are all different things. Okay, and then there's the guys who mentally they mentally are strong, and that's more important than being physically strong or even having great punching power. All of these things are different things. Okay, there's a difference between fast footwork, quick footwork, okay, and busy footwork, and they're all different things. Okay, anyway, on that note, you guys have a great one.